Hello ladies and mental gen, and welcome to another replay cast. Today we are looking at a ruffle stomp. Let's just put it out clearly. As you can see, top tier game in WZ170 the Mexican tier 9 heavy tank. Loads of tier 8s, loads of tier 7s, and if there's something WZ11114 is good at, it is chipping away health of lower tier enemies. I mean, this gun doesn't have the greatest pen, but the 490 alpha damage is just ridiculous at tier 9 on a heavy tank. The only other heavies that get this are the German ones, and they are slow as shit and not very flexible. So yeah, in my opinion, the WZ is just vastly superior and much better than those two, even though I probably would rate this slightly under the T10 just because of the idiot-proof nature of the T10's armor, especially against lower tiers where if you don't have like 200 plus pen, you can just go fuck yourself against the T10, while on this tank you have the Cupolas, you have the ridiculously weak and kind of big lower plate, which anybody can pen if they can aim at it. But still, one of the best tier 9 heavy tanks in pretty much the best matchmaking possible is a good recipe for a good game, especially because there is no shooters playing early in this game. So the first question you might ask me,
But Vosh, you're playing a heavy tank. Why don't you play it in the city like a proper tanker?
well, the answer to that is pretty damn simple. You want to be flexible, and playing into the city is pretty much the least flexible thing you can do. It can be okay, but this tank is all about playing it hull down, so you don't really want to be fighting on a flat ground with tanks that can easily pen your weak spots. As I mentioned before, this tank has a lot of them and they're quite big. So you want to avoid fighting on the flat ground in a tank like this, and the second of all, as I said, the flexibility of playing in the city. Like if you're in the city and the enemy team is not there, you're kind of fucked and you need to rush through it and then fight their TDs. But if you play the middle, you can support the other side at the start if needed, and you know, you can just control the game better from the middle of the map. And since the WZ is a fast heavy tank, you can easily support the flank that needs supporting. And at this point it seems that the city is definitely winnable. There is quite a bit of tanks here, but they're overly extending, and we have quite a bit of tanks here as well, and they're in passive position, so if I go in with my flanking maneuver, I could actually ambush them, and the damage I'm gonna be taking from these is pretty negligible, especially if they're not looking my way. So first of all, we deal with the T20, and now flanking on the T29 and the T30 should be... Really, now I'm just guessing if the T30 is looking this way or not. He might be if he's a good player, but he isn't, so he's not. And this is the fire number 1 in this game, and if I say something like that, you know there's gonna be more. Anyways, we deal with the T29 with 1 shot, which is pretty ridiculous, and now the KB5 bounces 2 shots on me. KB5's gun is terrible, so it's not really surprising that he couldn't hit the weak spots, even though from this distance you would expect to get penetrated if your enemies know what they're doing. And here is fire number 2. And as you can see, the WZ is just brutal when dealing with these lower tiers. You have a lot of hit points to trade with, and your trades are always going to be good with that 490 alpha. The only things you're going to be trading badly against are either German heavies or some of the TDs, but even then you have the hit point advantage on pretty much all of those, at least mobility advantage over German heavies. So the city is annihilated, and now we can move up. Our team somehow managed to all die on the other side, which is kind of good for me, because I want to kill the rest of the enemy team by myself as well, if I can. And now using that mobility of this heavy tank to get me across the map. I mean, it's not really a medium. You can see it doesn't really go like 30 to 40. Well, it does go 30 actually. Top speed of 50 also means that you'll be going quite fast downhill, and we already reached 40. I mean, this is a fast heavy, and that is really the massive advantage over the German super heavies that really do not go even nearly as fast as this. So this game was at 20-hour mark in my 30-hour stream, so I'm making a bit of a questionable play here. I mean, this YOLO across the open field is fine because they don't have any TDs, and I'm not really afraid of like facing like an IS-3A or something like that on from a distance. This tank, I mean, even if you don't bounce, you can out-damage pretty much all of them, but this is pretty questionable. I'm sitting in the open, turning away from the enemies. Now, the T25 to the tier 7 TD does want to fuck with me, so yeah, I mean, he's a 2-shot, so it's not very long before that guy is gonna have to have a bad day here. Also a nice 3A here, and we're still missing a Type 59, and this 3090 seems to have gone away, as well as as well as one of their i7s, and that was a clean shave on that guy. Missed as closely as you possibly could, and now he fucks off. Sad for me, because I could have easily killed him there, but oh well, such is life. Next up, dealing with an IS-3A, and this is a good example on why you don't really want to fight in the city on the flat ground against other heavy tanks. I mean, IS-3A has the advantage that he out-reloads me, so I'm always gonna have to trade with him unless he does something like this, where he just misses completely. I don't know what the fuck was he even trying to do there, but it didn't work out for him. But yeah, IS-3A out-reloads me, so every time I'm gonna be ready to shoot, he's gonna be ready to shoot me back, and he has 2 support vehicles as well, and at this kind of range, you don't really, you can't really bounce anything. I mean, if you go around the corner, he can't track you. If you side scrape, you still have the lower plate and the cupolas, and you also don't really want to side scrape because of this Type 59 here as well. But this is pretty bad. As you can see, I drive in there. This was kind of sloppy. I should have shot the IS-3A because dealing with him should be the priority, as he is the closest target to me, and if he is not spotting me permanently, that Type 59 won't be able to really peek me that well. Now just aiming for the Type. I mean, I'm kind of running on low side on the hit points already, as I did make some shitty decisions there, but the Type feeds me, and now I definitely gonna have to tank this IS-3. I should have really tried to face him, but he bounced anyways. My teammate didn't. Not really sure what the fuck was that IS-3 of ours really doing, and I'm not really sure why the fuck are they all even sitting there, not moving up to support me. But at this point, I cannot trade anymore. As I said before, IS-3 out reloads me, so there's not much really I can do at this point but sit here and wait. It's quite funny how long those heavies, and we have a Thief Thrower Mod 1 there apparently as well, are taking to get here. And now I'm just, you know, trying to see if I can peek this guy from this angle, but my tank cannot climb this angle, sadly. But yeah, just waiting for the support to arrive. The Yak 88 is the first one here. The IS-3 is kind of peeking, kind of sort of peeking. We find the 3090 here finally. Need to angle a bit better so I can get gun depression, and that was kind of sloppy, but I did get lucky once again. Quite lucky game, gotta say, and it's not over yet. Gotta move up. This is pretty shitty angle to do this in, but I mean, we don't really have anything better to do, and the IS-3 isn't focusing me. And now we actually could get a shot if he drives into it, and he might actually want to try to drive into it, because I mean, he can pen me easily there as well. But fire number 3, and an IS-3A is dead as well. I'm pretty sure we actually ended up 3-shotting that guy with the fire, of course, but still, it's quite funny that you can 3-shot an IS-3 with this. And lastly, another enemy IS-3 left, camping in the base by the rock. Really shitty enemy team, combined with a kind of shitty friendly team as well. Gives me this chance to just roam around the map and clear up pretty much all the flanks and all the places, and this guy's a one-shot as well, and hopefully we can get here in time to secure the kill. And it seems that's exactly what's gonna happen as we pick up our 5th. And here's the end plate. 5,238 experience with the double ace tanker, high caliber, and Confederate. 8,433 damage done, as well as 1,078 assisted and 1,470 blocked by armor. And then that got us 1,746 base experience. Perfect scenario for the WZ11114. No arty, really good matchmaking, pretty decent map for it as well. Really shitty friendly team, really shitty enemy team gave me the opportunity to just roam around the map and murder everything. You can really see how the mobility and flexibility of this tank came into the play in this game as well. Definitely one of my favorite tier 9 heavy tanks to play, as well as one of the best tier 9 heavies in the game. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast, and I'll see you on the next one.